This conference will now be recorded.
Just let me know your profile.
Yeah, I'm Rakesh. I'm from Shumaga. I completed MTech in 2017. After that, I worked in more than 6 to 7 years in mechanical field.
Okay.
Now I have to shift to IT. Initially, I was 1 year I was in IT only as an analyst. Now I'm interested to shift. Now I'm interested to shift to completely IT. So regarding, I don't know about SAP, but some of my friends said that SAP MM initially. So I have some interest on SAP MM. So regarding that, I have consulted to this institute.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Give me a minute, please.
I've already
Yeah,
made you
give me a minute.
presenter,
Give me a minute.
Dhananjay. If you have anything to share, you can.
Yeah, I'll share.
Yeah.
1 minute, please. Somebody is there at the door. I'll come. Yeah, I'm back. Let me just share my profile also. Myself, Dhananjay. Basically, I'm a mechanical engineer and I have overall 20 plus years of experience in the industry, out of which I have worked in the manufacturing industry initially for somewhere around 9 to 10 years. Later on, switched to IT, and into IT till now I'm there into IT. And when I started my career into IT, I started with SAP MM. Gradually, I went on to understand what exactly is MM, how exactly it works, what all the things are there. That part we have understood. I have understood, and I have started to work on SAP MM, wherein I have done somewhere around six implementations and three rollouts. Apart from that, support projects are there. 2 to 3 support projects are there. This is what my profile. Any questions you have, you can ask on this one. Yes, Rakesh.
No, you can go on, go on.
Yeah. Yeah. Shared my screen. Let me know you can see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. First and foremost thing, we'll talk about ERP. Do you have any idea about ERP, Rakesh?
I heard, but actually I don't have a fully experience. I heard.
No, no, I'm not asking about the experience or anything.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I'm just asking about what exactly ERP means. Do you have any knowledge on this one? That's what I'm saying. I'm asking.
It manages the business, complete business, whatever transaction on everything.
Yeah. Okay. ERP is nothing but the concept is called as enterprise resource planning. What exactly is this particular enterprise resource planning? Any basic idea about this enterprise resource planning? Yes, Rakesh.
No, 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 no. I don't have any.
Okay. Now, what we say it as enterprise resource planning. What exactly is meant by this particular thing? First and foremost thing, I'll bifurcate each and everything, starting with enterprise. What exactly is meant by an enterprise? Enterprise is nothing but it's a company, or you can call it as organization. Okay, enterprise is nothing but it's a company or an organization where all the business activities are going on. Okay, some companies have all the business activities, some companies have less activities. According to their according to their line of business, that particular organization works. Then we'll talk about the next thing called as resource. What exactly is meant by this particular thing called as resource? Resource is nothing but to run a company or an organization, we need certain resources. What all those resources are? Those basic resources are nothing but first and foremost thing is manpower is needed to run an organization. Then machine machine is also needed to run an organization. Machine doesn't mean that it should be a big machine. Even a calculator is a machine. Computer is a machine. Okay. To run a business, we need some calculator or some other small gadgets. Such kind of things are needed. Okay. This is what the lowest level I'm talking about. When the business, how the business is there, according to that the machines will be available. Like computers is there, laptops are there. Those are all nothing but machine. Man machine material. What is called as this material? Material is nothing but the materials which are needed to run the particular company or an organization. Just for an example, a simple, very simple example I'm saying, like paper is there, pen is there. Okay, these are all nothing but the materials, the basic thing I'm saying. When it comes to bigger industries, then there will be different kind of material, iron, steel, such kind of material will come. Or if it is a pharma sector, the chemicals, those are all nothing but the material. Then we have the next thing called as money. Obviously, to run a business or an organization, to start a business, what we need an investment. That is nothing but money. Until and unless you have the money, you cannot start a business or an organization. Okay, the initial level money is very much needed. Let it be 10 rupees, let it be 100 rupees, whatever it is, the money is required. And the final thing is nothing but method. What is this method? Method is nothing but it's a process, it's a procedural way to optimize the business by using the optimizing the resources to its maximum level to, to run the company or an organization. These are the five resources which are very much needed to run an organization. Okay, that is man, material, machine, money, and method. And finally, we have the third thing called as planning. As I said, planning is nothing but it is a process, it is a procedure to make use of the resources to its optimum level or maximum level. Okay, this is what we call it as planning. This is what the concept of enterprise resource planning, wherein what is enterprise is nothing but a company or an organization. Resource is nothing but man, machine, material, money, method. Planning, it is a procedure to make use of the resources to its optimum level to gain more profits to the organization or a company. This is what we call it as ERP. The basic concept of ERP is this particular thing. Is it clear? If you have any questions in between, you can ask. Okay. Now we spoke about ERP. Okay. ERP means it's a procedure to make use of the resources to its optimum level. But how to make use of the resources to its optimum level? How exactly we can put all together and we can optimize each and everything. Okay. For that, in the market we have lot many ERP tools are there. I'll list out some ERP tools, some older tools, some newer tools. I'll explain all those things. ERPs. I can call it as ERPs. What all ERPs are there? I'll say it as I'll not go much deeper. Older ones. We have SAP. We have SAP. Then we have what we have Oracle. Then we have Tally, and so on. These are certain ERP softwares are there in the market currently. We have SAP, Oracle, Tally, Unit 4. Apart from this, lot many Ramco is there. There are lot many ERP softwares are there. Now, when we have lot many ERP softwares, okay, why people are going for SAP? That is what we need to understand. Now, what is the purpose of an ERP uh, product? It optimizes the business process. It contains the data, and it will optimize each and everything, and we can get the results very easily. Very simple. I'll tell you here. You might heard about Tally. What this Tally does lot many functions. In one particular software, they have finance, they have sales, they have procurement. Not much, but the basic functions are there. Within one particular system, within one click, they can pull out a report related to finance. What is the profit and loss? What is the sales? What is the purchase? These things they can get it into the tally, which smaller companies or small shops, such kind of areas they use. Same ways Oracle is also there. Same ways SAP is also there. Okay. According to the company's what I say company's budget, they go for such kind of ERP software. How exactly the company is running the business, which ERP suits them, they'll go for such kind of ERP. Now, when we talk about different ERPs, and we are looking out for this particular SAP. What exactly is SAP? Lot many people they call it as SAP. It is not the correct thing. SAP is not a word, it's an abbreviation. It's nothing but systems, applications, and products in data processing. Okay. This is what the full form of SAP. That is what we call it as systems, applications, and products in data processing. Okay. Now, I'll not go much into the history of SAP. I'll just give the basic history of the SAP. It was started in 1972 by 5 ex employees of of IBM in Germany. Basically, this is a German software wherein these five people they have started with this particular concept called as SAP ERP system. Okay. Now, what this SAP ERP does, how it works. Basically, uh, basically what was there in the initial days. The architecture was there. That was R1, R2. Recently, it was R3. I'll start with R3. What is this R3? What is this architecture R3? What is this architecture? I'll tell you here. R3 is nothing but real time, 3 tier, real time, 3 tier, real time, 3 tier architecture. Okay. What is this particular architecture? Okay. How exactly it works? Okay. That I'll show you in in the web page itself. I'll show you now. I'll open one web page and I'll show you. This is the architecture. Okay. What exactly this architecture says, we'll see here. Okay. What we have three level architecture. 3 tier in the sense 3 level architecture. That is nothing but first is the presentation layer, wherein the users are going to log in the business functions. Say, for example, they have given some money to anybody else. We'll write it in the diary in the older days. Later on, system came into picture. Then they have started entering into the system. But in the system itself, when you have computer, that will be a file which will be there, standalone file which will be there on your desktop, but it has nothing to do with other functions. Okay. And when we open that file, we'll see the same data over here. Okay. That is what we call it as presentation layer, where the users work on the presentation layer. The second things come the application layer. Application layer is nothing but the complete process, however it is going to happen, it is going through the application layer. Okay, here you can see something written as ABAP. What this ABAP, I'll tell you here. When the user gives any command here, that particular data flows into this application layer. It gets processed over here. Once it gets processed over here, it goes to the third layer in the database, wherein it is going to save all the data. It is all on, not on your computer. It is going to save in the server database. Okay, whatever command you go give here, it gets processed here, and it will get saved here. Just for an example, very simple example, what you have given, yeah, say for example, you have given something called as, one second. Okay, just for an example, in the calculator, what you do in the calculator, if you want to calculate something, say for example 2 plus 2, what you will do, the user will go to the presentation layer, wherein he'll type 2, then plus 2. Okay, whatever typing is there, it is going to happen over here. Okay, it gets into the application layer, wherein the system calculates the thing what exactly is 2 plus 2, and it gives an output over here in the form, not here, not in the database. It gives an output at the presentation layer as a 4. But whether it can be saved, no, it cannot be saved, because it's a calculator, wherein it is not only for certain seconds. It cannot be saved for many much more days, or the data will be available for many years also. But when it comes to SAP, whatever command you have given here, okay, the command will get processed over here, then it will get saved into this particular database. And whenever the user wants the output, whenever the user wants to see that particular process report, he gives the command here in the presentation layer. Okay, then it goes to the application layer. From the application layer, what it does is it will fetch the correct data. Sorry. What it does, it processes over in the application layer. You give a command for the report, it goes to the application layer, it processes it, then it goes to the database level, and it searches for that particular result. When it searches for that particular result, it picks that particular result, it goes back to the application layer, and it comes to the presentation layer to the user as an output. Okay, say for example he has saved some data 20 years back, that particular thing, that also will be available, it will be there here in the presentation layer. This is what the basic functionality of this R3 structure, that is what we call it as SAP R by 3. Okay, now I'll go back to the notepad here. Now, as we have seen lot many mobiles, currently we have Android versions, iOS versions, there are a lot many softwares in the mobile industry. Like previously it was only Symbian, later on Android came into the market, then Nokia's their own uh, Microsoft, that was there in the market, then Android came into picture, then what we have iOS, such kind of softwares are there. Okay, same ways when the software has come up, that particular software, what will it will have, it will not stay at a single point. Say for example, currently what we are using Android in the sense, that is nothing but version 10, 11, 12, like this. Each and every time, what will be the versions will be nothing but the upgradations of the software. Whenever the software gets upgraded, it gets with a new version update. Okay, like your computer or your laptop, when you work on your computer or laptop with your Microsoft system, that particular Microsoft, it comes with Windows 10, Windows 11. Okay, Then later on, if they fix some issue, then the version will be different. Windows 10.1, 10.2, 10.3. The same thing is there in SAP also. Okay. Now we'll see. Now currently, previous to the current one, we had ECC. We had the ECC component. ECC in the sense that is a software, that is a SAP's software. That is what we call it as enterprise central components. Enterprise central components. Okay, this is what the full form of ECC. And in that one, there are lot many versions are there. Previously, it used to be 4.7. I'm picking somewhere 10-15 years back. After 4.7, it came with 5.0, not in ECC. R3 is nothing but 4.7. Then came ECC 5.0, ECC 5.0. Then it got upgraded again into ECC 6.0, ECC 6.0. Okay, when it came to ECC 6.0, in that ECC 6.0 again there were minor changes were there. Again in the ECC 6.0 they had different versions again, like ECC 6.1, 2, 3, 4, EHP 4, like that. Enhancement pack, we call it as EHP, that is enhancement pack. When it was upgraded, it was called as EHP 4, EHP 5, EHP 6. Okay, like I'll give that particular thing also. EHP 4, EHP 5, EHP 6. Okay, like this, the upgradations of ECC 6.0 started. Okay, and the companies used to use according to their requirements. How if they want to upgrade, they used to upgrade it, and they used to get additional features over there. Like this, it used to happen. Okay, later on, what has happened is it has been discontinued, and currently it is S4 HANA. It is called as SAP S4 HANA. S4 S4 HANA. Now, what exactly is this particular S4 HANA? This is the latest version of SAP. That is what we call it as SAP S4 HANA. Okay. Now we'll see this thing. We'll get into this one. I'll show you that particular thing. Now, what exactly is this particular S4 HANA? The full form of SAP S4 HANA is SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. It represents the fourth generation of SAP Business Suite. That means SAP it has transformed into the fourth generation. Okay, designed to run the SAP HANA in memory database platform. Okay, this is a technical thing. Just you need to just understand what exactly it is. The basic should be known to you. SAP refers to the company's system of application products in data processing. S4 indicates the fourth generation of SAP Business Suite. HANA stands for High Performance Analytic Appliance, okay, which is SAP's inbuilt memory database platform. Prior to S4 HANA, okay, whatever database was used, that database was not SAP's own database. That was all Oracle, Oracle database, and some other database they used to use, and they used to pay money for that particular thing. Later on, SAP, what they did is they they started research on it. Then they built their own database. That is what we call it as HANA. Okay, S4 is nothing but fourth generation. HANA is nothing but the database. Let me one second. Just I'll put on the switch. Okay, this is nothing but fourth generation fourth generation database. Okay, and HANA is nothing but stands for High Performance Analytic Appliance, which is SAP's in memory database platform. This is what the basic, very basic understanding behind this particular what exactly is ERP, what all ERP softwares are there, then the basic understanding of SAP, the history behind it, what architecture they use, then the previous one ECC that we have seen what exactly is ECC. Then we have seen what exactly is this S4 HANA. Do you have any questions, Rakesh, over here? If you have any, you can just ask me.
Actually, one thing I need to ask. Actually, is S4 HANA,
Hmm.
SAP S4 HANA is using only in large industry, right?
No,
Means
you can't.
not some medium scale industry.
Uh,
It's completely using in large scale industry only, right?
no, 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 no. It is not like that.
Because
A, com- a
everyone already
company.
shifted to S4 HANA, S4 HANA,
No,
or still using some
no,
of
no,
the
no.
ECC only.
Some of the companies are still on ECC because SAP has not stopped ECC support till now. 2025, they have increased, I think, so for another couple of years to get transferred to S4 HANA. Whichever company is using SAP ECC6, the last what was the last news that was that everybody should move on to S4 HANA. But later on, lot many customers they are still using SCC, ECC, and they don't want to get into S4 HANA because it costs a lot. For that particular purpose, they wanted to buy some time. For that reason, SCP also said that yes, we can support you for some more time. Later on, they'll stop supporting that particular ECC, and they'll be fully focused on S4 HANA. This is how it works, and it is not a matter of small company, medium segment company, or large scale industry. It depends upon the business volume. It depends upon the business volume. Okay, how the transactions are there in the business, whether they initially a company which affords to buy SAP, they'll use SAP. If it is a small scale industry, then also SAP is there. For small scale industries, they have SAP Business One. Business One is again a software wherein it is specifically used for small scale industries, medium segment industries, and when it comes to large scale industries, that is S4 HANA. Like this, it is. Okay, it depends upon the business to business how they prefer to have, how they want to invest money in the form of ERP. It is upon the industry, it is upon the management of the particular company how they want to run their business using an ERP, and that too into SAP, whether they want to go with a limited functionality or the full-fledged functionality. Because SAP Business One, it is a limited functionality wherein they are not getting the complete things. They are getting only the initial business functions, but they are not getting the full-fledged functionality. But when it comes to S4 HANA, it has the full functionality. Say for example, very simple example I'll tell you here. Now, when we go for Disney Hotstar, it's a free software wherein what we can do is we can log in and we can watch whatever they are giving it as a free. If you want to watch a new one or a good one, then you need to pay for it. This is what the thing. Okay, this is how it works. Now Google also has done the same thing. Earlier, what we used to use Gmail. Correct. Now the Gmail, what they have done, they have given some memory space per user. Once that particular memory is fulfilled, then what Google is asking, you can go with this particular plan, 1,000 rupees for 6 months or 3 months, like that, so that they can increase your capacity, the memory database capacity. It will be increased. If you don't want to invest, then they are saying yes, okay, it's fine. Whatever memory is there, when it gets full, you will not receive new emails, such kind of thing. Like you have Google Drive is there. You have how much data is there, how much data you can save. Say for example, some 2 GB, 100 GB. After 100 GB, what will happen when you try to save it? System will not allow. It will say that either you need to buy the additional data by paying some amount, or else you delete whatever is there within the 100 GB. Whatever is there which is unwanted, you can delete and you can make space and you can save it. Later on, what will happen after a couple of months? Again, the same situation comes. Okay, that is what it happens. This is how it works. This answers your question, right, Rakesh? I'll take it as this. Okay. Now we'll go on to the other thing. Right. How, whatever it is, whether it is ECC, whether it is S4HANA, this is just an ERP software, but the business remains same. What exactly is the business? Business, what they do, they they have money, which is called finance. They have sales, which is called as sales. They have purchase, which is called as material management. They have production, which is called as production planning. It depends upon the organization to organization. How SAP is divided or it is classified, that I'll show you here. SAP is classified basically in this manner. First and foremost thing is technical. What is this particular technical? Do we need to understand its technical also? No, not at all. If you are a functional guy, then there is no need to understand technical. If you are interested, you can go for technical. That doesn't That's upon your interest. But what this technical contains? Okay, the technical contains ABAP. Okay, what this ABAP means? ABAP is nothing but it's a programming language. Okay, it's a programming language. We have seen lot many programming languages like SQL is there. Okay, Python is there, Java is there. Okay, these are all programming languages. By using this particular programming language, the companies are developing their new ERP software or tool or any other functionalities. Okay, but for SAP, their own thing is own programming language is there. That is what we call it as ABAP. ABAP stands for Advanced Business Applications and Programming. A person who is from a programming background, either he can choose, if he is willing to get into SAP, he can choose this particular ABAP. Otherwise, if he's in some other domain, then he can choose Java, Oracle, such kind of SQL, such kind of thing. Okay. Then the second thing is nothing but whatever SAP is developed, it is based upon this particular ABAP itself. This is the programming language for SAP. Let it be ECC, let it be HANA, whatever it is in SAP. Then we have the second thing called as basis. What is this particular basis? Basis is nothing but the administration part. What exactly is meant by this administration? This is nothing but the system administration. Okay, that means when the SAP is being implemented in a company, okay, they have their own server system. Okay, in that particular server system, what is the database capacity? Okay, then the connections between different systems. Then whenever a user is going to log in into the system, say for example you might have used some other ERP, I don't know exactly, what you will do, just an example here, I'll take it as Gmail. When we go for Gmail, what will happen in Gmail? If you go to Gmail, whether it will show all the mails to you only by typing Gmail, whether it will show all the mails to you, not at all. What will happen there? You need to provide the username, then your password. When you give the username and password, what it will show? It will show whatever is there with that particular username. The data will be fetched and it will be displayed to you. Okay. Whether it will show you my data, not at all. How it is possible? That is what this basis will control over there. Okay. The user creation, giving him the roles and responsibilities, what role he can access, what role he cannot access, monitoring the system performance, the complete system performance will be monitored through the basis. That is nothing but first is ABAP, which is the programming language for SAP. Second is the basis, which is the system administration part of SAP. This is the first. This is the first classification. That is what we call it as technical. The second classification is what we call it as functional. Is this functional? Okay. When we talk about this functional, it is nothing but the business areas, which we call it as. Like, say for example, I'll give you the examples here. Not example, the content of the functional. First and foremost thing, it starts with finance. What is this finance? The finance department activities will be captured in the finance area. Then we have controlling. Controlling is nothing but it's an advanced version of finance itself. But in the finance, the basic functionalities will be taken care of, like what is accounts payable, what is accounts receivable. Okay, what has gone out, what has come in the form of money, that will be taken care in the finance part. When it comes to controlling, it is nothing but the highest level reporting, plus we can say it as in the manufacturing industry, the product costing. Okay, and overall profit and loss statement generation, that will be at the controlling level. The people from the commerce background, they will be going for finance controlling. Okay, this is the thing. Then we have other things like we have HR. Is nothing but the HR functionalities. What all functionalities will be taken care in the HR, it will be captured in HR module. In here we call it as technical modules. I missed the module here, the classifications. Technical modules, then we have the functional modules. Okay, The finance is there, controlling is there, HR is there. Then we have sales and distribution. The sales department activities, that is what we call it as sales and distribution. Then we have materials management. This is nothing but the purchase department, the overall purchasing department activities, which will be there captured in the materials management part. Then we have warehouse management. What all activities will be performed in the warehouse, that will be taken care in the warehouse management. Then we have quality management. Okay, quality management, the quality department activities. Then we have production planning and control, plant maintenance, like this. Different departments. The functional modules are nothing but the functional areas of an organization. Finance department, the costing department, HR department, sales department, purchase department, warehouse department, quality department, production planning department, maintenance department, such kind of thing. Okay, whatever the nomenclature is here, that will be that is denoting the departments over here. Okay, apart from this functional modules, they have the third one, that is nothing but new dimensional. Okay, in the new dimensional modules, we have advanced planner and optimizer. And we have then we have integrated business planning. Okay, like here, what exactly is this advanced planner and optimizer? Okay, when the planner will come into picture, the production planning area, they have the planning department. That particular thing, they work at that particular level. Okay, but what is this advanced planner and optimizer? Advanced planner and optimizer is nothing but it's an advanced level of production planning. What is this integrated business planning? Okay, planning goes on in each and every department which are interlinked. Say for example, sales, procurement, warehouse, quality, then we have maintenance. Everything is interlinked. Okay, when it is interlinked, when we club all together, when we plan in a single way, that is what we call it as integrated business planning. Okay, but to understand the integrated business planning, you need to understand the functionalities of these particular areas, then only you will be able to understand the integrated business planning. But here in these functional areas, you should be aware of one particular module fully, and other modules, part of other modules should also be known to you, then only you can understand what is this integrated business planning. Then we have um, MDG, master data governance, and so on, customer relationship management. To understand the customer relationship management, we have the basic is sales and distribution. Then we have supplier relationship management. To understand the supplier, we need to have the knowledge about the materials management. Then we have EWM, which is called as extended warehouse management. For extended warehouse management, the warehouse management is very much needed. Like this, there are various new dimensional modules out there. This is how the SAP is classified. Okay, whether it is ECC, whether it is S4HANA, the classification remains same. These are nothing but up to ECC, the database was a third-party database wherein SAP used to use that particular database, and they used to they used to work on the third-party database in their software. But later on, they developed their own database which they use in S4 HANA. Okay, HANA is nothing but database. S4 HANA is fourth generation database. Okay, this is how the classification of SAP goes on. Okay, any questions on this one? I'll take it as no.
Actually, in a SAP S4HANA, these three modules will come, right? So technical or in ECC also come same these three modules.
Same. Not three
Okay.
modules. Three different
Yes.
classifications: technical modules,
Okay.
functional modules, new dimensional modules. Okay.
And this course is come completely on SAP S4HANA, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
This course will completely on SAP S4HANA only, right?
Yes. In S4
Not
HANA,
ECC.
not ECC. In S4 HANA, that on materials management only. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything is a
Yeah.
everything is a very
Actually,
big
I
thing.
need to. Actually, in some of already you said that initially that SAP S4HANA is not completely used by all MNCs or every companies. Some of them are using ECC and all.
But they'll be
How can
switching. They'll be switching to S4 HANA very soon. The functionality never changes. The functionality remains same. What is the difference between ECC and S4 HANA? ECC has third-party database. Understood? The database is nothing but to save the data. And S4 HANA is having its own database, SAP's own database. Till ECC, it was Oracle database, SQL database, like that. But in S4 HANA, it is SAP's own database, that is S4 fourth generation database. That is the difference. Whether the business function will change? No. Business function will remain same. Very simple thing. When you want to make a payment through Google Pay, okay, you have an Android phone. Okay, application is there, Google Pay. You will scan a QR code, or in your contacts, you want to send money, you will put that number, you will put the amount, then you put your password, the money has been sent through the QR code or the number. When it comes to iPhone, whether it is the same or different, again it remains same. Only the thing is that Android phone, Android software uses its own functionality, iOS uses its own functionality, but the business application remains same. Google Pay remains same. Let it be for Android phone or let it be for iPhone. Correct. Now, first and foremost thing, we'll understand what this materials management is. What exactly is meant by this particular materials management? The materials management is nothing but it's all the purchasing department activity. Okay. In a very simple manner, I'll give you the process flow here. Now, what the purchasing department does, it is responsible for all purchasing activities. what all it purchases, basically it starts with the material or services. Okay, the purchase department, what it will purchase? It will purchase material, okay, or service or asset. Okay, material is nothing but the raw materials, whatever is needed to manufacture a particular thing. That is one such thing. Then the service is nothing but uh, it is used in the BPO industry or service based industry. Then asset is nothing but to purchase a computer is also an asset. To machinery is an asset. Land, it is an asset. This is what the purchasing department, what has to be purchased, that is nothing but material, service or asset. From whom it has to be purchased? It will be purchased again from whom? It will be from a supplier. Okay, that is what we call it as vendor. Okay, what we are doing, the company is going to purchase either a material, service or asset for which a supplier should be there. Okay, you are going to buy it from a supplier. That is what we call it as vendor in business terms. Okay, when we buy the material, any of the thing, material, service or asset, what we do is we are going to make the payment. Okay, we are going to make the payments. Payments is what no, what we will not do. We'll send it to the finance department who will do that particular payment. Okay, that is what we call it as P2P. This is what we call it as P2P. P2P. What exactly is this P2P? P2P. This means procure to pay. Procure to pay. This is what the initial basic level understanding of a purchasing department, which is there in SAP Materials Management. Whether it is S4HANA or ECC, the functionality remains same. Whether it will be changed, whether the payments will be done earlier, then you are searching for a vendor or searching for a material. It's not like that. This process flow goes in the same manner. It will not change in any of the software. Now, in SAP, what all things we are going to learn in materials management pertaining to the purchasing department? That is what I'll be explaining. First and foremost thing is nothing but we have we call it as master data. What is this particular master data? Okay, master data is nothing but the initial level things. Basically, it is nothing but what has to be purchased. Again, that is nothing but material or service or asset from whom it has to be purchased. It is nothing but vendor. Okay, these are the two basic things. Okay, now apart from that, some more master data are there in materials management. Okay, the basic is material, service or asset from whom it has to be purchased is nothing but the vendor. Then we have third is nothing but purchasing info record. What is this purchasing info record? Purchasing info record is nothing but the information related to the material and vendor is what we call it as purchasing info record. That means the system will have the information of what material can be purchased from which vendor, or what all vendors can supply this particular material. If you go to simple in our day-to-day life, I'll tell you here. If you go to petrol bunk and you ask for a kg of sugar, whether he'll give, whether he'll be able to give, not at all. Okay, how we know? Because we have been taught that in kirana or general grocery store we get these particular items. In petrol bunk we get these particular items. The information is fed into our mind, but in system how exactly it should know? There are a lot many data is there. Okay, the material is there, the vendor is there. How the system will come to know which vendor can supply what material? That mapping is what we call it as purchasing info record. Okay, which vendor can supply what material, what service, what asset? Okay, one single material can be supplied by 10 vendors or 20 vendors. The mapping is done over here. Or one vendor can supply you hundreds of materials also. Okay, the mapping between material and vendor is called as uh, purchasing info record. Then we have the third one. This is an optional. This is an optional. This is an option. One second. This is an optional master data. Sorry, purchasing info record is there. I just deleted it. These are all mandatory. Okay. Then we have the fourth one. That is nothing but the optional one. That is what you call it as source list. What is the meaning of source list? Source list is nothing but in a time in a time period. Say for example, in a period of month, this material can be purchased only from this vendor, or this vendor can supply only this material in this period of time. That mapping is what we call it as source list. Okay, it is not mandatory to maintain the source list. If it is needed you can maintain, if not, no need to maintain. Then we have quota arrangement. What is this quota arrangement? Say for example, your company usually purchases some 100 kgs of material, x material, in a month. Okay, but the order has come, a big order has come. In that case what you need is, you need 1000 kgs of material in a particular month. And from whom you are buying the material, that vendor is not able to supply 1000 kgs in a month, and that order is for another 1 year. In that case, either you will search for a vendor who can supply 1000 kgs of material per month. If it is there, then they can maintain the source list. If not, the company searches for such vendor, but none of the vendor is able to supply the 1000 kgs of X material in a month. In that case, what the company will do? What they do is they split that particular quantity in different vendors in that particular period of time. X material of 1000 quantities is divided into A vendor with 30 quantities, B vendor with 40 quantities, C vendor with again 30 quantities. That is what we call it as quota arrangement. This is what the basic thing which is very much needed in SAP system, materials management system, to run the SAP materials management. This is what we call it as master data. Okay. Then what we have is transactional data. What is meant by this particular transactional data? Transactional data is nothing but the day-to-day business operation. That is what we call it as transactional data. What kind of transactional data is there? That I'll be explaining now. first and foremost thing, whether the organization will buy the material blindly. No, not at all. Whenever there is a requirement, then only they are going to buy that particular material. The requirement will come from whom? It will either come from it will either come from production department or maintenance department or the utilities department or admin department, whoever want the material. What they do is they generate a request for the purchase of material because they are not able to buy the material directly. They'll generate a request to the purchasing department. What that particular request is called? It is called as purchase requisition. What this means? Purchase requisition is nothing but it is an internal document within the organization in which it is specified that what material needs to be purchased, how much quantity is needed, when it is needed, and where it is needed. Okay. When this particular request comes to the purchasing department, then the purchasing department, what they do, if they have a fixed vendor, they'll buy the material from that particular vendor. But if the material is costly, in that case, what the purchase department will do, they'll check most viable vendor. How they can check? Okay, they'll float a RFQ. That is what we call it as request for quotation. Okay, what is this request for quotation? The purchasing department will generate a document wherein they'll specify what material is needed, how much quantity is needed, when it is needed, and where it is needed. Okay, this document will be given to multiple suppliers who can supply the material and asking for their prices because what we want, we don't want to pay more money to the vendor. Whoever delivers it on less amount and good quality, then only we'll take from him. Okay, when we float an RFQ, the vendors will reply back with their quotation, the price quotation. The quotations will come to us. Then finally, what we do is the purchasing department will do. They'll do the price comparison. When the price comparison is done, then the purchasing department will finalize the vendor based upon the price, quality, and the punctuality of the vendor. All the considerations will be considered over here. They are going to finalize the vendor. When they finalize the vendor, then what they do is they are going to give an order to the vendor. Until and unless you are placing an order, the vendor will not deliver the material. That order is what we call it as purchase order. When we place an order, okay, when we place an order with the conditions whatever are there, then the vendor will deliver the material. Okay, these are all nothing but the transactional data in SAP materials management. Once the transactional data are done, then what we have is inventory functions. Inventory functions. Okay. In the inventory functions, what we have, when the order is placed, the vendor will deliver the material. When the vendor has delivered the material, we are going to receive the material. When we receive a material, we are going to make a document of it. That is what we call it as goods receipt. Okay. When we receive the material, we are going to make the goods receipt. Then we will keep it into the stores, and whenever a particular department requires the material, they'll raise a request. Then the stores department what will they do? They are going to issue the material to that particular department. That is what we call it as goods issue. Okay. Then we have transfer postings. What is this transfer postings? Transfer posting is nothing but the movement of material from one place to other place is what we call it as transfer posting. Say for example, we have received the material, but we want to check the quality. In that case, what we'll do is we'll transfer the material to the quality department. Once the quality check has been done, then again it will be moved from quality department to stores department. That is what we call it as transfer postings. Okay. Then we have the final thing, that is what we call it as logistics invoice verification. What is this logistics invoice verification? Logistics invoice verification is nothing but when you place an order, along with the order, the vendor will, with respect to the order, the vendor will deliver the material to you. Along with the material, he'll send a bill. That is what we call it as invoice. We receive the invoice. Okay. And when we receive the material and invoice, we are going to cross check whether the material received is as per the order or not. Yes, if it is yes, if it is matching, the quantity is matching, the price is matching, everything is matching, then we verify the invoice and will send this particular invoice to the finance department, asking them to pay to the vendor. This is what the process flow of a purchasing department. Okay. What has to be purchased, from whom it has to be purchased, and how it has to be purchased. The process flow is what I have shown you over here. Okay. Apart from this, what we have is we have reservation, reservations, reserving the material. Okay, that is what we call it as a reservations. That is reserved for certain activity. That is what we call it as reservations.
Sir, actually, in logistic invoice, what are the steps? Means what are the modules will come?
Procurement is the main thing. No module will be involved here. Invoice will come from whom? Invoice will come from vendor. Based upon what the invoice will come, based upon the order what you have placed. Correct. That is what we call it as logistics invoice verification. Okay, logistics is nothing but the word itself says that it is a part of the functionality. When we place an order, the vendor has sent the material. When he has sent the material, along with the material, he has sent the bill. That is what we call it as an invoice. When we receive the bill, we'll check the bill, what material, what rate he has sent, how much quantity he has sent, whether we have received the same material, same quantity at the same rate or not. That verification we'll do in the logistics invoice verification. We are not making any payments over. Once we find that yes, it is perfectly fine, then we'll ask the finance department to make the payments. Okay. The payment part will be taken care by the finance department. Then we have reservation. Reservation is nothing but reserving the material for certain activity. Then we have physical inventories. physical inventory. Okay, physical inventory is nothing but physical counting of stock on a periodic basis to justify that how much quantity we have ordered, how much we have consumed, how much is remaining. That particular thing we will be doing it on a periodic basis, maybe monthly, maybe quarterly, maybe half yearly or yearly. It depends upon organization to organization how they perform this activity. Then stock transport order. What is this stock transport order? Stock transport order is nothing but it is within the company, but two different plants are there. Say for example, one is there in Bangalore, another one is there in Mysore. The material has been moved from Bangalore and it has been sent to Mysore because Mysore was facing shortage of that particular material and their vendor cannot supply the material with the stipulated period of time. In that case, what they do is they do some adjustment. The material will be moved from here to there, Bangalore to Mysore. Okay, that is what we call it as stock transport order. And when the material comes to Mysore, they return it back. That is what we call it as stock transport order. This stock transport order is within particular one company itself. That is one business with multiple plants. Okay. Apart from that, we have two different business. Say for example, mm, what example I can take? I can take an example of mm, two different businesses. Say for example, one business is pharmaceutical business, another business is nothing but uh, one is pharmaceutical, another one is generic item. Okay, in that case, that movement will also happen. That is that also comes in the stock transport order within the company, uh, within the same business. The company is remaining the same, but the arm of that company, pharma division, then chemical division, then manufacturing division. The movement of material with different things. That is what we call as intra company stock transport order. Okay. Now, this is what we call it as the standard procurement process. That is what we call it as standard procurement process. Okay, this is what the standard one. Apart from this standard, what all other things are there in SAP? Not in SAP. In general, also we have lot many things are there. Like here, we have outline agreements. Outline agreements. What is this outline agreements? Outline agreement is nothing but it's a binding document between the buyer and the vendor for a period of time with respect to quantity or with respect to value. Okay. Now, in the outline agreements, also there are two types of outline agreements. One is contract. What is this particular contract? Contract is nothing but it is a binding document wherein the vendor and the buyer will agree on terms and conditions with respect to quality, quantity, price, value. All these will be considered. Okay. Again, in that particular period of time, the vendor has to deliver the material of this much quantity or this much value. Okay, the process remains same, wherein either the material will be there, vendor will be there, info record, source list, quota arrangement. If it is there, then fine. Source list and quota arrangement will not be considered here. Then there will be a purchase requisition. Okay, there will not be any RFQ, there will not be any quotation, there will not be any comparison against the contract. The order will be generated. That is the purchase order. Then we receive the material. Then we make the payment. Okay. Again, in the contract, there are two types of contract. One is One second. One is quantity based contract, and the second one is value based. Instead of based, I'll say quantity contract. Contract is remaining the same, but it is quantity related contract. In that contract, a fixed quantity is mentioned for a period of time. Then we have value based contract. Value based contract is nothing but it is as per the value, the total value of the contract. Okay. Apart from this contract, we have scheduling agreement here. It is under the outline agreements itself. What is this scheduling agreement? Scheduling agreement is nothing but it is again a contract type document wherein the delivery dates are predefined. Okay, in contract the delivery date are not predefined. Whenever the need is there, we are creating a PO against that particular contract. But in scheduling agreement, it is predefined delivery dates are there. With respect to that particular date, the vendor has to deliver the material. In the scheduling agreement itself, they are going to specify that this material of this much quantity is needed on this particular date. Okay. The process remains same, but here there will not be any purchase order. The scheduling agreement itself acts as a purchase order. Okay. Apart from outline agreements, what we have is batch management is there. What is this particular thing called as batch management? Batch management is nothing but the shelf life materials. What is this shelf life materials? Say for example, milk. We consider this as milk. Okay. Now, when we are going to buy milk from a grocery store, what we'll do, we'll check the packing date and the expiry date. Such kind of materials comes under batch management. How exactly the material batch will be determined, what exactly needs to be checked, and what exactly the process should be that we are going to do. That is what we call it as batch management. Process remains same. The material, vendor, PR, RFQ, quotation price comparison, purchase order, goods receipt, invoice verification. But additionally, there will be a batch number will be there. How exactly we can process that particular thing, that is we understand in the batch management. Then we have the next thing called as split valuation. What is this split valuation? Split valuation is nothing but the material remains same, but the prices differs. How the prices will differ? It is based upon the origin. Okay. Say for example, if you want to buy an apple in Bangalore, it costs, say for example, it costs 200 rupees kg. But when you buy from Himachal Pradesh, whether it will cost 200 rupees, no, it will be somewhere around 40-50 rupees kg over there. The material is remaining the same, but the prices are differing because of the origin. Okay, one such concept is here in the split valuation. Origin is there. Second is nothing but the status, that is first quality, second quality, and third quality. Okay, that is what another one. And third one is nothing but the when a material is manufactured in house, it will cost 10 rupees. When we are buying the same material, we are giving more money. Very simple example I'll give here for the split valuation, that is in-house or external procurement. When you prepare a cup of tea at your home, it will cost you somewhere around 2 3 rupees. But when you go to a restaurant, okay, in that case it will cost you 15 rupees. The price is getting differed, but the material is same. That is what we call it as split valuation. We'll understand how exactly we can work on this split valuation in SAP. Okay. Then we have special procurement types. Special types. In this special types, what all things are there? One is nothing but the subcontracting. What is this subcontracting? Subcontracting is nothing but it is a type of process wherein you are not able to manufacture the thing. Then what you will do, you will provide all the material to the vendor. He'll manufacture for you, and he'll charge for the services what he has done. That is what we call as subcontracting. Then we have the second one in special types, that is nothing but pipeline. What is this particular thing? Pipeline. Pipeline is nothing but the material is flowing continuously at your place, but you are paying only for the thing what you have consumed. Just for an example, you can say your electricity bill. Okay, electricity is there already at your home, but whether the meter will run until and unless you switch on any gadget, it will not run. If the meter doesn't run, whether you get a bill, yes, you get a bill, but that is only the service charges they maintain. When you consume one unit, then according to that, what amount is there, that will be added. 10 unit, 20 unit, 30 unit. Okay, this is how the consumption based purchasing is what we call it as pipeline. Then we have the final one, and the third one is nothing but consignment. Consignment is nothing but it's a different form of business process wherein the vendor will keep the material at your site, okay, and you are not paying for the complete consignment. You are going to pay only for which you are going to use it. That is nothing but the physical material which is lying at your place. You are paying only for the consumption. That is what we call it as consignment business process. Okay, these are all the material related processes which we are going to understand in SAP Materials Management. And finally, we are going to see the service master. Okay. the material or asset purchasing is done with respect to this particular process. When it comes to services, we call it as service master. These are all the business process which you are going to learn in SAP Materials Management. Okay, on the user level in the sense how exactly it works, how exactly you create the documents, how exactly the process flow will be there. You are going to understand those things on a standard setting. Okay, if any company wants to have their own kind of setting, then how it can be done, those configurations you are going to learn in SAP Materials Management. Now, any questions are there from your side, Rakesh?
No, no, no.
Yeah, this is what the content of SAP Materials Management. You can search through the Google, you can get the same sort of content which we are going to
This
cover.
only these 12. This is only 12 contents in the HANA,
It's not well.
SAP HANA.
It's not well. It's not well. You can see sub things are also there, na? In master data. Master data is number one, in which material is there, vendor is there, purchasing info record is there, source list is there, quote arrangement is there. Don't think about the total number. Don't think about the number. If I remove the number, then the process flow you understand. Don't consider as the numbers. Process flow. In your day-to-day life, you want to buy a shoe. Hmm? Shoe becomes your material. From whom you are going to buy it? From a shoe shop, that becomes your vendor. Okay. The information regarding shoe and the shoe shop is not nothing but uh, your purchasing info record. If you have if you have a fixed shoe shop, then it is a source list. If you want two pairs of shoes, but the shoe is not being supplied by that particular vendor, then the other vendor also, you get two different vendors from there, one here, one, that is one. Hmm? That is what we call it as quota arrangement. The requirement of shoe is nothing but your purchase requisition, and you go to different shops asking for the price. That is your request for quotation. When you get the price, that is your quotation. Then you compare the prices. That is what your price comparison. Finally, you decide it and go to, and purchase it. That is what your purchase order. When you receive the material, you will cross check bill and the material. After which you are going to pull out your wallet and you are going to make the payment. This is the process flow. This is the process flow. In any purchasing, this is the process flow. This process flow you are going to learn in terms of SAP. How it works in SAP, that is what you are going to learn. Apart from that, different kind of purchases are there. That that particular thing I'm going to show you in SAP. This is what the thing I want to show. We are going to give you in this particular training. So, any questions?
Questions.
If there are no questions, then we can stop this one here. This is what the demo session which I have given to you.